Hey guys, so this is your read aloud for the Chapter 5 exam. If you have any questions, as always, let me know. Otherwise, pause, stop, replay as much as you need, okay? So the instructions read, this exam must be completed through Lockdown Browser. You will have 90 minutes to complete it and submit. If you run out of time, the exam will automatically submit for you. Question 1. Brianna is mapping trees in a section of land. She observes that some of the trees are clumped together, some are uniformly separated, and some appear to be spaced randomly. What is she describing? Is it A, population density, B, the population distribution, or C, the population growth? Question 2. American bison are typically found in large groups, which offer greater protection for the animals. Based on this information, what type of population dispersion would you expect American bison to have? A, clump dispersion, B, uniform dispersion, or C, random dispersion? Question 3. 14 beavers live in a pond with an area of 2 square kilometers. What is the population density of the beavers in this area? A, 7 beavers per square kilometer, B, 14 beavers per square kilometer, or C, 28 beavers per square kilometer. Question 4. The size of a bird population increased by 2% in 1 year. Which of the following could have contributed to the population increase? A, a decrease in the death rate of baby birds, B, an increase in the number of the bird's predators, or C, an increase in the average number of parasites per bird. Question 5. Murray is observing a bacterial colony that is growing in agar in a petri dish. Agar is processed seaweed. Murray calculates that the population doubles in size every 32 hours. Which conclusion is supported by Murray's observations? A, the agar and air in the petri dish are providing all the resources needed by the bacteria. B, the bacterial colony is growing in all regions of the agar in the petri dish. Or C, the bacterial colony will continue doubling in size indefinitely. Question 6. The graphs show the age structure for each of 3 countries. The horizontal bars show the percentages of the population in each age group by gender. Note that for country 1, about 20% of the population is between ages 0 and 4. This is the greatest percentage of any 4-year age span in all 3 countries. Identify the choice that best completes the statement or answers the question. Which conclusion about country 1 does its age structure support? A, young children have a lower death rate in country 1 than in the other countries. B, young children have a higher death rate in country 1 than in the other countries. Or C, more young children live in country 1 than in the other countries. Question 7. Nesting birds often space themselves evenly from other nests. This pattern is called A, clump dispersion, B, uniform dispersion, or C, random dispersion. Question 8. The figure below illustrates the population growth of a species of Daphnia, a species of freshwater flea. Use the graph to answer the questions that follow. So on the graph we have number of Daphnia on the Y, days on the X. Which statement is most likely true of the Daphnia population shown in the graph? A, it has reached its carrying capacity. B, its resources are unlimited. C, the population size is decreasing due to predation. Question 9. The figure below illustrates the population growth of a species of Daphnia, a species of freshwater flea. Use the graph to answer the questions that follow. What type of population growth is shown in the graph? A, logistic, B, exponential growth, or C, density-dependent growth. Question 10. The graph shows the changing populations of wolves and moose in Isle Royale National Park. Wolves are predators and moose are their prey. Which of the following pairs of populations is most likely to increase and decrease in a similar pattern to the wolves and moose? A. Moose and balsam fir, which are the favorite food plants of moose. B. Very old wolves and young wolf pups. Or C. Moose and the beneficial bacteria that live in the digestive tracts of moose. Question 11. A grasslands ecosystem is home to populations of a variety of animals, including bison, prairie dogs, ferrets, pheasants, and hawks. Which change to the ecosystem is most likely to decrease the sizes of every grasslands population by the same percentage, regardless of its initial size or distribution? A. The introduction of a new herbivore species to the ecosystem. B. The removal of the bison, the largest animals of the ecosystem. C. The conversion of half of the ecosystem into farms and ranches. Question 12. In a forest ecosystem, a variety of predators will compete with one another for the same prey. The predators include wolves, coyotes, foxes, and hawks. Their prey include deer, rabbits, mice, and the chickens that live outdoors on nearby farms and backyards. Suppose that human activities such as hunting drastically reduce the population of wolves, coyotes, and foxes. Which statement best explains a likely change to the hawk population? A. The hawk population decreases because of the natural cycle that affects predators and prey. B. The hawk population increases to a new carrying capacity that is determined by one or more limiting factors, such as the availability of food. C. The hawk population increases in a pattern of exponential growth because the limiting factors on the population were removed. Scientists have observed the exponential growth of lionfish in the Caribbean Sea. Question 13. Which of these predictions about the future of the lionfish population is the most likely to occur? A. The lionfish population will continue growing exponentially indefinitely. B. A limiting factor will cause the growth of the lionfish population to slow down, forming a pattern of logistic growth. C. A limiting factor will cause the lionfish population to decline rapidly and eventually decrease to near zero. Question 14. A rabbit population is affected by parasitism and disease, both of which are density-dependent limiting factors. Which statement describes the effects of parasitism and disease on the rabbits? A. Parasites and disease weaken or kill a constant percentage of the rabbit population, regardless of its density. B. As the density of the rabbit population increases, parasites and disease weaken or kill a greater percentage of rabbits. C. As the density of the rabbit population increases, parasites and disease weaken or kill a lesser percentage of rabbits. Question 15. Demographers developed a hypothesis to explain the changes to the populations of countries over time. This hypothesis describes a demographic transition in which countries change from a combination of high birth rates and high death rates to low birth rates and low death rates. The changes of the demographic transition are summarized in the graph below. Identify the choice that best completes a statement or answers the question. Which of these events is most likely to occur during stage 2 of the demographic transition? A. The population increases slightly due mainly to the increased rate that babies are born. B. The population increases significantly due mainly to a decrease in death rate. C. The population decreases slightly the population decreases slightly, especially in the older age ranges. 16. The human population has changed in ways that are similar to other populations. How has the human population changed since it first appeared on Earth? A. The population has generally increased at a relatively constant rate. B. The population has generally increased and at rates that have varied over time. Or C. The population increased rapidly until it reached its carrying capacity, where it has remained for thousands of years. Question 17. A scientist concludes that a population of bison has reached the carrying capacity of the prairie where it lives. The birth rate and death rate of the bison population are equal to each other. What can be concluded about the rates of immigration and emigration? A. The rates of immigration and emigration are equal to each other. B. The rate of either immigration or emigration is 0. Or C. The rate of immigration equals the birth rate. Question 18. Lake Teflon is a large freshwater lake that is popular for recreation. One year, the managers of the lake introduced a population of rainbow trout to the lake. The graph shows the growth of the population over several years. Identify the choice that best completes the statement or answers the question. Which best describes the growth pattern of the rainbow trout? A. Exponential growth because the lake provides unlimited resources to the population. B. Logistic growth because the effective limiting factors increases with the population size. Or C. Exponential growth because limiting factors are always affecting the population. Question 19. Bamboo is a type of grass. In the wild, pandas eat bamboo almost exclusively. For this reason, the availability of bamboo is a significant limiting factor on the panda population. Which statement describes how pandas could become extinct in the wild? A. The bamboo population decreases so low that other limiting factors begin to affect the panda population. B. The bamboo population decreases so low that the carrying capacity for pandas becomes zero. Or C. The populations of bamboo and pandas follow a cyclical pattern of increasing and decreasing until one of them becomes extinct. Question 20. A hurricane blows across a Caribbean island. The storm flattens trees and it drowns or washes away a large number of plants and animals. As a result of the storm, the carrying capacity of the island is temporarily reduced for many of the island species. How is the storm classified as a limiting factor? A. The storm is a density-independent limiting factor because population size and density do not alter the storm's effect. B. The storm is a density-independent limiting factor because its effect depends on the size. Sorry, I lost my lights. Because its effect, let me just restart this one. So answer option A again for question 20. The storm is a density-independent limiting factor because population size and density do not alter the storm's effect. B, the storm is a density-independent limiting factor because its effect depends on the size and density of a population. Or C, the storm is a density-dependent limiting factor because its effect depends upon the density and size of a population. Question 21. Match the following groups of animals with their survivorship curves. Note, survivorship curves can be used once, more than once, or not at all. So your first option here, invertebrates and fish, would that be an example of a type 3, type 1, or type 2 survivor? Humans and large mammals, again, type 3, type 1, or type 2 survivor. Birds and reptiles, type 3, type 1, or type 2 survivor. Question 22. The graphs show the age structure for each of 3 countries. The horizontal bars show the percentages of the population in each age group by gender. Note that for country 1, about 20% of the population is between the ages of 0 and 4. This is the greatest percentage of any 4-year age span in all 3 countries. Match the labels to the graphs. So slow growth, like the United States, would that be country 1, country 2, or country 3? Rapid growth, like in Nigeria, would that be country 1, country 2, or country 3? And your last one here, negative growth, like you would find in Japan, would that be country 1, country 2, or country 3? Question 23, and this is going to start your short answer section. Use the figure below to complete the questions that follow. So this is the same graph you're going to use for all of them. The graph title reads, yeast population growth in a sugar solution over a 20-hour period. On the y-axis, we have amount of yeast in milligrams per cc, which is the same as saying milligrams per milliliter, and then hours here on the x-axis. So question here for 23, what is the amount of yeast in the figure at the 6 hours mark? Include units. Question 24. After how many hours does the yeast population shown in the figure reach its carrying capacity? Question 25. What is the carrying capacity of the yeast shown in the figure? And question 26, the last question. What type of population growth does the yeast population in the figure exhibit? Explain your reasoning. Okay. So as usual, if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any issues, certainly let me know. Otherwise, go ahead and submit when you're finished, and I will see you hopefully for the next Zoom. Bye.